All right, again, this is going to be me a little bit preaching to my own choir. But right, we talk about time management often. We talk about blocking your calendar. We talk about doing the tasks, but what does this really look like, right? And so I wanted to take kind of the back perspective to this, time management concept and talk about how you actually get freedom in your time and you get your time back to spend with your family, to do hobbies, to sleep, to work out, to do whatever else you want to do, because I honestly believe that having a work-life balance is one of the biggest keys to success, right? You've got to be happy, you've got to be fulfilled, you've got to be healthy physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, to be able to be at your best, not only for your business, but for yourself, for your family, for your partners. And so I want to talk about today, right? The true freedom and time management comes from eliminating, automating, and delegating activities that steal your hours, right? And I'm sure you could all, if I asked you, shout out one thing right now that you think you could eliminate, but it's these silent time killers that compound over time that end up making us feel like we're running around like crazy. So I love this quote from Michael Sucher, who's a serial kind of entrepreneur, started a printer company in his early 20s that went multi-million. But he said, right, the bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot, right? As I'm looking at my watch, right, it's April 22nd. That's crazy to me, right? Doesn't it feel like it was just January? And before we know it, it's going to be summer, and then it's going to be Labor Day, and then it's going to be the holidays. Anybody else get into this like rat race of time where you can't even fathom how quickly it's going? Right? The bad news is time is going to go quick, right? We're busy. There's a lot of stuff going on, but the good news is you're the one who can dictate how you spend your time, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want you guys all to do this. If you've got a notebook, write these things down. The trainings will be posted online and in the resource center later today. But I want you to do an honest, transparent audit of your time. For one full week, monitor where your time actually goes. Write it down, create a spreadsheet, carry a notebook around with you. Where is your time actually going? And then after that week, again, be honest with yourself. If you spend 6 hours scrolling social media, I want you to write that down, right? The first, what do they say? The first step to changing something is admitting you have a problem, right? Be honest, be truthful. Don't feel bad about it. I want you guys to put it all out there. Track your time for one full week. And after that week, find your top 3 time wasters or unnecessary commitments that drain your energy. I want to stress that second point here a little bit. We all get ourselves sucked into commitments that don't fulfill us, they waste our time, they don't produce a positive return, whether in business or in happiness, but we feel stuck in doing these things because we said we were going to, right? And so as you go through this time audit, I want you to, again, be honest and truthful with yourself. What are these unnecessary commitments you got yourself into? And we're going to be able to recognize patterns, right? We're going to see these activities that we're doing every single day or every single week that are stealing time from our schedule. These are those silent time killers that compound and they create lost days, weeks, months, right? You're wasting your time. And so we figure out what we're wasting our time and we have more time in our schedule. We've got to figure out how we can spend it the most effectively. This isn't business specifically too, but you can apply it to your life. But the 80-20 principle, right? We've talked about this before. I talk about it often. Figure out what your high value activities are. 20% of what you do should produce 80% of your results. If in your time audit you find, hey, I'm doing all these tasks every single day or every single week and they're not producing a return, you need to eliminate those low value tasks. Again, I'm guilty of this. I'm sure all of you, if you're being honest with yourself, are guilty of it as well. But what are you doing? These are I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off and it's not producing any value for me. Those kind of tasks. And then double down on your winners. What are the things that you are doing that are producing positive results? You've got to be able to identify these activities that create your results and then ruthlessly prioritize them. Again, I think it's probably been a while, but I used to talk about a book called The Boys in the Boat. And it was about the rowing team who had never won an Olympic race ever. And for 2 years in Olympic training, every single thing that they did every day, they took under the lens of, will this make our boat go faster? If the answer was no, they didn't do it. If the answer was yes, they doubled down and did more of it, right? Should I stay up until midnight scrolling social media? Does that make my boat go faster? Probably not. I'm going to stop doing that. Does going to the gym and making my body, my mind, and my health feel better, does that make my boat go faster? Yes, I'm going to do more of that. You've got to be able to figure out, what are you doing? Is it achieving results or is it not? Right? We all have the same 24 hours in the day, but some people are far better at prioritizing their time and using it to produce results. So what do? Right? There's a lot of time wasting tasks that still need to get done, but we're in an age of technology that can really help you. And I want you guys to be leveraging the tools and the resources that you have available to you. So again, as you're going through your time audit, what are these repetitive tasks that you're doing every single day? Create a system for them. And I want you to document them with such clear steps that anybody can follow them. Right? Keep your instructions visual, take screenshots, take a screen recording. If you got hit by a bus tomorrow, God forbid that happens, you should have your entire business so systemized that somebody else can come in and pick up right where you left off. The second one, I think, is also critically important. And this is, again, a moment where I'm going to preach to myself a little bit. But a lot of us are perfectionists, right? We don't want to delegate because we think somebody else can't do it as good as I can. And so I might as well just do it myself. Perfect is the enemy here, right? Done is better than perfect. And so delegate anything that somebody else can do at 80% of your quality. Right? They don't have to do it exactly how you do it. But if you can delegate something that somebody else can do at 80% of your quality, it needs to be delegated. And you've got to build a documentation, right? So much value in your business is in your own head and it's stuck there, right? It's not repeatable because you haven't spent the time to build the documentation, so you can't transfer that process to other people. These repetitive tasks, these easy things that we get stuck doing over and over again that need to be delegated and you know they need to be delegated, you need to put them in a process so you can hand that playbook off to somebody else. Right, we talked about, hiring a team member, hiring a virtual administrator, right? If I told you, hey, you've got to go pay somebody $20,000 this year to do all of this small task stuff for you, but if you paid them 20, you're probably going to make another 100,000 because you're going to be able to do the things that you do best. That's a bet I would take all day long. I hand you 20,000, you hand me back 100. Seems like a no-brainer. And then use automation. We have so many tools that are free or that are very affordable to be able to do the hard work for you. Create templates, right? Again, as you're going through your time audit, what are the things that I'm doing over and over and over again? Design reusable templates for anything that you do more than twice. Our staff uses a program called Monday.com, and we have templates built out for anything that happens at the brokerage. Whether an agent is coming, an agent is leaving, we're opening a new office, a new admin is coming on, a staff member is coming on, we need to plan an event, right? These are all things that have happened more than twice. And so our team has built out templates. Every time one of those recurrable tasks happen, we fire up the template, the entire staff knows exactly what they need to do. Everything's delegated to the appropriate person, it's done, it's repeatable, and it's efficient, right? We leverage the technology to handle those repetitive tasks. And most importantly, the decisions, right? If you're like me, you get stuck in decision fatigue often. We make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of decisions every single day. And sometimes there's days where, again, if you're like me, you feel like I can't make another single decision to save my life. I was just talking with a friend who, she had a baby about 6 months ago. And right before he was born, she went on and used ChatGPT and said, hey, I'm going to be on maternity leave with a newborn for the next 12 weeks. I want you to plan out all of the freezer meals I can make, give me a list of the ingredients, divide it up by the department in the grocery store, and plan out a calendar for me. And in less than 30 seconds, she had everything planned out, knew exactly what she needed to get, what meals were going to be cooked when, and fed to her family. Right? You know how long it takes most people to figure out what they're going to cook for dinner every single night? She was able to leverage the technology and use it to her advantage. Also set up systems, right? If there's something you can automate, it needs to be automated. Real estate, at its fundamental, is not a difficult business, right? What we do with every single client, every buyer, every seller, every process is repeatable, right? You should be improving them along the way. But if a buyer calls me tomorrow and says, hey, I want to start looking at a house, I know exactly what to do. If a buyer calls me 2 years from now and says, hey, I want to start looking for a house, it's about the same process, right? So set up systems to automate all of that stuff so that you're not the one doing the actual work. And this one is going to be hard for people to hear, but we have to be better at setting boundaries. Right? What are your non-negotiable rules that you're using to protect your time and energy? Treat these as sacred, right? I go to the gym at 5 a.m. 3 days a week. I let nothing get in the way of that because I know the days that if I don't go to the gym, I'm a mess, right? I do not let anything get in the way of the things that are really, really important to me. And this next one, right? Defaulting to no. I'm a yes person. Somebody calls and asks for something, I immediately say yes. And then I try to figure it in my schedule. But what if we started defaulting to no and saying no automatically? Right? You only say yes after careful consideration of the true cost. That could be financial, that could be physical, that could be a cost of your time. Would you be better at making decisions that align with the time schedules that you've set up for yourself? If you said to people, hey, I'd love to help you out, let me make sure it aligns with my schedule first. Right? You're communicating clearly, you're setting clear expectations to prevent mismatched expectations from others. Right? Somebody might call you and ask for something and they want it from you right away and you don't get it to them for 2 weeks, right? There's a misalignment there and now people are frustrated. But if you're in control of your time and you're in control of your schedule and you can clearly communicate that to people, right? It lays everything out. We're all on the same page. Work really, really hard. And this is really hard, right? But saying no automatically. And it doesn't have to be a permanent no. It can be a, hey, let me take a look at that. Or am I the right person to do this? Should I actually take your request and delegate it to somebody else that's better able to serve you? It's more aligned with their time schedule. You don't have to say yes to everything that's presented. And again, I think this is how some of us get into those, commitments that drain our time and our energy because we just automatically said yes. So I want you guys to really start doing this today. I get up here every Tuesday. I tell you a bunch of stuff to do. I know the truth is a fraction of you guys probably only do it, but I think this one is so important, especially this time of year, because time is going to start flying, right? The summer market is going to get busy. We've all gone through this before. It's hectic. We're running around, inventory's moving, buyers are coming in, kids are off school. We're trying to plan summer vacations. You've got baseball games, you've got soccer games. You've got a bunch of stuff going on. So if you don't, starting today, get in control of your schedule, I'm going to talk to you in September or October and you're going to be exhausted, right? Anybody felt that before? Because I've definitely had years like that. And so write this down, hang it up in your office, put it on your bathroom mirror. Free time isn't found. It's deliberately created through systems. You don't just stumble into having extra time. You might, but that's probably a rare occasion. But if you deliberately craft your schedule, make sure you're only saying yes to things that you should be doing and that you want to be doing. I promise you'll get a better handle on your time, on your schedule, and on your work-life balance. And the more clear-headed you can be walking into every single day, the better it's going to be and the more successful you're going to be. That's all I got for you today. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
No, that's all good. I know some people will just say, I know Bill Hayes used to do that. I'm not working Wednesdays when his daughter was younger. Like you can just have days or afternoons that you just have blocked off. Don't you think that's a good idea?
Yeah. And he stuck to that.
Uh-huh.
I was also talking to another RE/MAX owner last week about schedules and, you know, coordinating different things. We use a tool called Calendly. There is a free version. It's really great. You can set up different meeting times for different appointment times, right? And so I have a 15-minute quick phone call. I've got a 30-minute meeting. I've got a 45-minute business planning session. I've got all these different times. And so when somebody requests to meet with me, I say, yep, I'd be happy to meet. Here's my schedule. Feel free to book a time that's convenient for you and that, you know, and grab a meeting that is most aligned with, you know, what you want to talk about. Again, it sets the expectation. It links with my calendar so they know when I am available, and it prevents those calls from going, hey, I really need help on business. Can you meet me in 30 minutes? Right? I used to say yes to those kind of things because I'm a yes person and I want to jump in and help, but it would throw off the rest of my schedule. Right? You've got to be deliberate about planning out what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. And so get control of your calendar. If you don't live and die by your calendar, you need to start doing that today.
Hey, Reagan.
Hi, Amos.
This is Amos. In my other career, I'm in cybersecurity, and I just want to throw out, just be cautious with AI. AI is really, really new, and I think it's excellent for some of the things you recommended, such as organizing your schedule, or if you have to do like 6 showings in a day, it can organize which route to take as far as the most fuel efficient. And you know, use for your grocery list, how the store is set up, or what's the most efficient way to go through your grocery list. I just want to maybe offer just a tiny bit of caution if you were to use AI for obviously things such as your banking accounts, even maybe not perhaps even not the routing number and checking number, but even just organizing those. I'd just be cautious because remember that almost all the AI that you use are brand new. AI is still really, really new, and everything that you put into it is visible to anyone in the world. Just FYI. Someday in the future, it might be nice to have a Remax preferred AI that's only within our company, and then we could use it for almost everything. But just throwing that out there that remember that someone can watch every single thing you put into AI, and it's used for everyone else's AI in the world. So just throwing that out as just a caution. Obviously, it's awesome for setting up grocery lists or setting up meal plans or you know, lists on what routes to take and such, as you know, things like that. But just offering just a tiny bit of caution there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a great reminder. My kind of general rule of thumb is I don't put anything into AI that should be confidential. But we're looking into building an in-house AI. There's a Remax brokerage in Ohio that built their own, you know, AI program that their agents use. And so, Amos, if you have any knowledge on that and want to help, feel free to connect with me. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure. I was just told to say no, but yeah,
So
for
you're
sure. I'd
supposed
love
to say, let me take a look at my
Let me
schedule.
take
And
a
then
look at my schedule. I'd love to work on that. And I think that internal AI, while on the outset it can be a tiny bit slower, after a few months it becomes way more efficient and way more tuned to our environment. So I think that's you know, having some sort of in-house AI that is just between all the Remax preferred agents would be excellent. So let me know if I can at least look it over or help with that. So yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate
A
that.
great suggestion, Amos. Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good week. Stay warm. It's still kind of rainy and crappy out, but I appreciate you guys showing up today. You should be proud of yourselves for putting the time into learning new things and working on yourselves and your business. And if you need anything, as always, I'm here.
Thanks, Reagan.
All right. For your calendar.
Thanks, Reagan. Bye, guys.
Good.